Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have a fun slimline card to share with you and some gift tags using the exclusive Gina K Designs and Simon Says Stamp Last Minute Labels stamp set. This is an exclusive limited edition and it's going to be perfect for your tag making, labels, and even cards. We are going to start with the card today. I had this idea. I already knew I was going to make gift tags, and I thought I would just go ahead and make this slimline style card first. Now, you might already know from some of my other content here on YouTube and on my blog and social media that I'm a huge fan of the Hero Arts Bulb Ornament Infinity dies. And I had an inkling that these adorable little snowflake motifs and Merry Christmas motif and sentiment from the last minute labels would fit the bulb ornaments, and I was so excited to find out I was right. So if you already have the bulb ornaments, you might want to pick this up too. It's going to work with other shapes as well, but I am really loving that. So first thing I'm going to do is build my background. This is usually where I start with most of my cards. I'd probably say 98% of my cards, I do start with the background. And yes, this is that beautiful, gorgeous lumberjack red distress color, brand new from Tim Holtz and available at Simon Says Stamp. I highly recommend adding lumberjack plaid to your distress arsenal if you haven't already, because you guys, it is the perfect, most gorgeous red. I am in love with this. So I used the Slimline mask from Simon Says Stamp, the largest from that collection, to mask off the edge of my panel, which is automatically going to give me a beautiful white wide border all the way around my card. Then I went ahead and left the stencil in place and spritzed the background with my distress sprayer, leaving these beautiful oxidized splatters all over. I blotted it dry, and then I cleaned the stencil off with my microfiber cloth without removing it. This is going to help keep my snowfall grit paste from picking up some of that excess color, I think, and I'm not going to have to worry too much about maybe contaminating my container. Now, this is the Delicate Snowflakes stencil from Simon Says Stamp. Neither of these products from Simon are brand new. I love going back to things I may already have in my stash and finding new uses for them. So I'm going to take this great palette knife. This is currently my favorite palette knife from Hero Arts, and I'm going to grab this beautiful snowfall grit paste and I'm going to start applying it through the stencil. Now, when this is dry, it is going to dry clear, so it's going to be a very subtle effect, but I think that the clear snowflakes, in the background is going to add a really fantastic texture to my finished card and not overpower the ornaments, which I definitely want them to be the standout. After I'm done, I'm immediately going to close my container. I'm going to remove my Delicate Snowflake stencil first. I did use some of the Simon Says Stamp low tack tape to hold that in place. Oh, look at that. Now remember, they will dry completely clear, but the texture is amazing. Then I'm going to remove my masking stencil, and I am going to take all of that, my palette knife, my stencils, to the sink, wash everything really good before that glues in place, basically. Now, because I'm using all pretty small dies today, I'm going to use my Hero Arts compact cutter. I'm going to be die cutting 8 of the bulb ornament, and this is one of the smaller bulb ornaments from the set. In fact, let me tell you exactly which one it is. It is the middle, or the third largest. So there's a big guy, and then there's one a little bit smaller than the big one, and then there's this one. And then there's 3 smaller ones after that. So this is the third largest, 8 of these. And I had already tested it to see if my snowflakes would fit, and they will. Here is the Last Minute Labels stamp set. How cute is this, you guys? I am simply going to take all of my bulb ornaments and I am going to stamp them. Now, for my bulb ornaments, I am going to do 3 each of the snowflake images from the stamp set. So there are 2 snowflakes from Last Minute Labels that are just a snowflake, nothing else about them. I'm going to stamp each of those on 3 of the bulb ornaments using clear embossing ink and heat embossing with white embossing powder. We're going to be doing embossed resist today. I did die cut all of my labels from Nina 110-pound weight cardstock. I think that's going to be perfect. And look how wonderfully those snowflakes fill the entire area. Going to make sure my heat tool is really good and heated up. And I am simply going to continue this. So 3 of this snowflake, 3 of the second snowflake, and 2 of the Merry Christmas. I think the only image from the stamp set that I did not use is kind of the little flourish. Otherwise, I'm using the other 3 shapes, and we will be stamping both sentiments from this stamp set to use on the gift tags, which I'll show you here in a little bit. I feel like one of the most impressive techniques you can apply to your card making is repetition. And in this case, we've got repetition with ornaments. We are going to build out a row of ornaments on our card, and obviously the repetition comes with the die cutting of the bulb ornaments and also from repeat stamping of a couple of the motifs. So both snowflakes will be used twice on the Slimline card and only 1 Merry Christmas. I didn't want multiple Merry Christmas bulb ornaments because that is going to be the sentiment for our card design. Now, once I have all of these stamped and embossed, I'm going to go back to my Distress Oxide inks, or you could use Distress ink as well, or any of your other favorite inks. You might try it out to make sure it doesn't stain your white embossing powder before you commit. But I have really been loving the Distress Oxides again lately. There is no real reason why I chose those over regular Distress. Definitely pick whichever one is your favorite. And I am going to start Embossed Resist. Embossed Resist is where the ink, or the embossing, pardon me, resists the inking. So with the Merry Christmas, I'm going to go back to Lumberjack Plaid and I am going to start inking it, and you can see that that raised area is resisting the ink. Now the ink's going to sit on top of it a little bit, so you're going to want to take a dry cloth or paper towel and buff that excess ink away, but you're going to be left with beautiful ornaments with white embossing, and I love it. If you have more patience, you could ink your ornaments first, and you could go back once they're completely dry and stamp and die cut right on top of the inking. I did not have time to wait for that, and so I decided not to. If I was going to do it that way, I probably would let it sit overnight at least. That's kind of just my rule of thumb there. Now you can see the background is pretty well dry. Look how incredible it looks with the oxidized splatters and then our beautiful gritty snowflakes. Next, I'm going to take Rustic Wilderness. I think with the addition of Lumberjack Plaid, Rustic Wilderness has its best Christmas friend. I really, really love these 2 colors if you are a fan of classic Christmas. So I am going to ink that one up. And again, buff any of that excess ink off of the embossed area so that the white really shows through. And I'm just going to start building my row of ornaments. Lumberjack Plaid definitely blends into the background too much, so I normally wouldn't leave it like that on its own. And I'm going to be doing a row, but I'm even going to kind of help make it pop a little bit more by adding some pine needles die cuts underneath. Now, I was going to use iced spruce because you guys know I love iced spruce, but I wasn't feeling it. So instead, I set that one aside. I'm actually going to use it. I didn't have to die cut or stamp anything. And I inked up another ornament with KITSCH Flamingo. And about this point in the design, I could see my direction. Like, I couldn't see it completely, but now I definitely think pink aqua, and a gray ornament are the way to go. So this was actually the ornament I started to ink up with iced spruce. This is salvaged patina, and I was able to kind of disguise the fact that I started with a different color right on the edge because I hadn't inked very much of it. For our final ornament, I did have to contemplate and think a little bit about it to decide what to do, and I didn't really want to introduce another color. I didn't want to use one of the other colors I'd already used, and so we will be using hickory smoke, and I definitely like the addition of the gray ornament into the mix here. I've also die cut all of the bulb ornament, again, just off the edge of the cardstock to save as much as I possibly could. From silver matte cardstock, I'm going to cut the tops off and we're going to glue those in place to the top of each ornament. It's just one of those little details and little steps that you can do that really takes the design up a notch. Oh my goodness, that gray is super, super pretty. Now, I know I mentioned a minute ago that I felt like I needed some pine needles or some sort of greenery. I did ultimately decide to use the pine needles from Simon Says Stamp. This is a die that's been out for a little bit. I've die cut them from white cardstock, and I'm going to put them in my clear splatter box. Now, I did think I was going to use another greenery piece, but I opted not to. I'm going to spritz these first with Rustic Wilderness Distress Spray. Just straight distress spray, nothing special. Then I'm going to make sure that my fresh balsam mica stain is mixed up really, really well. And that I was showing Wicked Elixir there, but I did not use Wicked Elixir in the finished card. I do spray something with it, but I end up not using it. But the fresh balsam, we're going to splatter over the top of Rustic Wilderness to just give it, the Rustic Wilderness gives it a perfect dark green base, but here we're going to add some of that shimmer. So a lot of times I will color die cuts just with the mica stain. In this case, I did a combination and I like it. I'm going to have to try that more often with other colors of distress or distress oxides because I think the end result is super pretty and it kind of just gives you a whole new look. Now this is Wicked Elixir and Rustic Wilderness. It's really pretty. I just opted not to use it. It didn't feel like it worked. I always like to take my die cuts out of the box and lay them on usually a glass mat, something that'll clean up quickly and easily so that they dry quicker and they're not sitting in this excess moisture. The great thing about using a plastic box is you can simply rinse it out when you're finished. While I'm waiting for my pine needles to dry, I am going to go ahead and ink up the 3 remaining ornaments with Lumberjack Plaid, Rustic Wilderness, and Hickory Smoke. These are going to be my gift tags. Now, if you have followed me for any length of time, you know that I absolutely love making gift tags. They're one of my all-time favorite things and probably one of my most popular series here on my YouTube channel. People tend to like them, and it's probably because I really like them. And of course, last minute labels, as the name applies, this is going to be a really easy way to create some very fast and easy last minute labels. I definitely kind of took quite a few steps. I feel like we're still early enough in November. We're not even to December yet, so we still have a little time. But if you put it off until December, you could definitely still achieve something very similar. One of the things you could do to speed this up even more is take colored cardstock and a colorful ink and simply stamp right on your bulb ornaments and without having to heat emboss or ink, and that is going to be a very, very quick time saver. So now all I'm doing is adding the top of my ornaments to all of my inked ornaments, or the silver top to all of my inked ornaments. And I will be applying foam adhesive to the back to pop them up off the background. This is going to just give them a perfect bit of dimension. I'm working right on the background so that I can really gauge where I want them to go. I kind of like how I had it laid out. And so I'm just moving about 1 ornament or 2 ornaments at a time. Anywhere they overlap, I'm going to make sure that I don't put foam adhesive there. And the pink ornament definitely is tipped another direction. I think that's what adds a lot of interest to the finished card design, is not having every single ornament exactly the same. So here is this. Now I don't want to attach the Merry Christmas ornament yet, because I do want to tuck some of the greenery under there. So as soon as I have it laid out like I like, I am going to go ahead and take the Pine Needle Trio, which is really more of a quartet, because I die cut the trio and then I did die cut one of them again. And I am going to adhere those around the Merry Christmas to really help it pop out. I'm still kind of waiting for those to dry, and so I decided to take and do a tone-on-tone decoration of my ornaments with Trinity Stamps baubles. You could use Pretty Pink Posh Pearls or any other product like that that you enjoy. I love both. I have both. All I did was simply grab a coordinating assortment of pearls. I've really been into the pearls lately, and I started decorating the snowflakes on the ornaments. I think it adds a great little finishing touch. Again, anything you can do to just kind of elevate the design and give it a little added interest, even with something so simple as repeating ornaments or stamping snowflakes on ornaments and sentiments on ornaments. It is very simple, but the addition of pearls, the addition of the silver tops of the ornaments, and then that wonderful layered background really adds to the overall appeal of the design. Oh my goodness, look how pretty these are. I'm going to use my tweezers, and I'm going to start trying to figure out how to tuck my pine needle branches underneath and around my Merry Christmas ornament to really draw the viewer's eye to this part of the design. So to do that, I'm going to tuck some of it kind of back behind, and you can see I've not attached my red ornament, nor will I until I kind of have everything right where I want it to go. So some of the pine needles are back behind all of the ornaments. One is going to be kind of back behind the red ornament, but overlapping the pink. And the final pine needle branch will be underneath the red ornament, but slightly overlapping the green ornament. Kind of one little piece coming out here on the right side. And there is that last little bit that I kept trying to get to work, and honestly, I just didn't love it. Sometimes that happens, and I do like to share those design choices with you in videos so that you can see that even if you think you're going to use something and it's not working out, don't be afraid to just say, you know what? This is not going to work for this card, set it aside for something else, or in this case, I accidentally ripped it. And so I actually just tossed it in the trash because it's just paper and that is no big deal. So now I'm going to put foam adhesive underneath the center part of my ornament and liquid adhesive on the sides. I am going to use my Hero Arts tweezers as a clamp to help hold that down and kind of keep it all in place while I'm working. And you guys, I think I like it. I thought I might add some gems to the red ornament, but I ultimately decided I don't think it needs anything. So now I did die cut 3 more plain white ornaments. You could also choose a different color if you wanted to. And I am going to back each of my ornaments that I have done embossed resist with a white ornament. It just gives a really nice clean back to a gift tag. And then I'm going to glue the ornament topper on top. You could also die cut more ornament toppers and finish off the back of the tag. To be honest, I did not today. I just decided not to, but you could do that super, super easy. I'm going to place something heavy on top like acrylic blocks to help hold everything down, hold it flat while my ornaments dry. And while I only did 3 today, you could totally do a whole bunch of these very, very easily. I think they would even make a really nice gift. Now I did stamp, as I mentioned earlier in the video, the Happy Holidays and Merry Christmas sentiment banners from the Last Minute Labels Gina K stamp set. I stamped them on white cardstock using VersaFine Onyx black ink, and now I'm going to go ahead and just fussy cut them. I know everyone gasping in horror can't believe that Nichol is fussy cutting. I did not want to get out my scan and cut for these, and it did not take but just a couple minutes to fussy cut these and leave a nice little white border all the way around. So yes, I did fussy cut. I know everyone is shocked. And then we are going to adhere these right to the center of the two ornaments that don't have a sentiment. So obviously the one has the Merry Christmas as part of the design, but the other two are snowflakes. You could just decorate them like we decorated for the Slimline style card. You could do all kinds of different things with that. But I decided that I thought a little banner across each of the snowflakes would be really, really cute. And I do love how it looks. So once I have these fussy cut, I'm going to grab my foam adhesive and we're going to simply pop these up through the center of the tag. Got to clean up all my little scraps, and let's go ahead and adhere the first one. Because this banner slightly curves, I'm going to cut my adhesive and then I'm going to peel the backing off so that I can curve it along the edge and then just adhere it right in the center. And oh my goodness, you guys, how cute is that? And then I will go ahead and attach it to the straight across banner, and this one will go on the hickory smoke or light gray ornament. And there is a look at all three ornaments. Now to finish, you could stamp to and from on the back. I did not today. I am going to take some pearls, the same pearls that I used previously. I did use red pearls on the ornament where I didn't use them on the card. And I'm just going to add a little bit of decorative or decoration to the tags to dress up the snowflakes a little bit. You definitely don't have to. You could use anything to achieve something similar. And if you don't have a lot of pearls, something like Nouveau Crystal Drops would also work really well. Just a little decorative something. I love decorating ornaments and snowflakes. I don't know what it is, but it's one of my favorite things to do. This green color is called Forest Fern, and then the silver I'm using is called Silver Satin, and these are the baubles from Trinity Stamps. The red color will be Lipstick Red. Now I will use Lipstick Red on a little bit of that, but I did take a Trinity Stamps Vanilla Sugar Snowflake, and we are going to add that to the larger star up there above the M and the E in the word Merry. They actually are not little dots, they're all little teeny tiny stars, and I kind of considered doing star confetti instead of the pearls, but I don't have any confetti in the red, so I did choose to do kind of cover up some of those with little teeny tiny red pearls and then just do a snowflake, but it probably would have been cute left as is as well. I was on my little embellishment kick. The final thing I'm going to do is take some May Arts silver twine, and I'm going to cut it to about 10 inches long. I used the grid on my cutting mat or on my glass mat as a guide. 10 inches I found is really just enough to thread it through and knot it and not have to be super tricky. It's plenty. 8 I found is almost too short. So I've kind of found the sweet spot for me is about 10 inches long, and I'm going to thread that through each, knot it, and I'm going to have a wonderful trio of last minute label ornaments. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these last minute label ornaments, Slimline card and matching gift tags. The supplies I used to create my tags and my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Please remember that this is an exclusive limited edition to Simon Says stamp created by Gina K Designs, so once it's gone, it is gone. You might want to pick it up soon. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you would like to become a member of Patreon, please click the link in the description below. We would love to see you over there as part of the community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new card making or paper crafting video. As always, thank you guys so much for spending some of your day with me. I appreciate all of you so very much, and we'll see you again next time.